So let's begin with, we have seen many things in Figma. In fact, we have designed, I think, I don't remember which, okay, yes, we think we have designed this, right? So this particular page we have designed, the login page, okay? So now today, I'm going to show you some other features of Figma, okay? So let me show you. So I will just open this page that I've created using Figma, okay? So this page I've already created, and now we are going to see how we can prototype, you know, um, websites for responsive design. Okay, so that is also very important. Okay, so you can see right now, that I have an empty section over here. Okay, so right now I'm not going to concentrate on that, but this is the page that I have created. Okay, so you can see it's a very simple page which has a nav bar on top, and there is a hero image in the center with some uh, links to the social websites, then a few cards, and then at the bottom there is contact us. Okay, and a footer. Okay, so these are the things that are there in my page. Okay, now let us see how to design this page in a responsive nature, okay, in Figma. Okay, so let's first select the home page. So this is my home page frame. Okay, so inside the frames, these components, these elements are there. Okay, so now if I try to resize the frame, just see what happens. Okay, so the frame resizes, but the other contents do not resize. Okay, so then this means that right now whatever we are doing, whatever we have done is not responsive. Okay, so now to make this responsive, what things we can do. Okay, so let's see how we can make this particular. Let's first make the navbar responsive. Okay, so uh, let's select the nav bar. Okay, so this is where we are going to learn the new a new concept that is called as constraints. Okay, so if you select any particular element, you can see on the right there is a option called constraints. Okay, so this constraints is required to be set for a responsive design. Okay, so right now you can see this particular element has a constraint of left and top. Okay, so what this means is whenever I try to resize the parent, it will stick to the left and the top. Okay, so that is the constraint that is by default set on all the element that you create. Okay, but what if I want to design a responsive element, right? So for that, what you have to do is, if you want to have a responsive element, you need to stretch on both the sides. Okay, so the left and the right. Okay, so all you have to do is come to the top one is for the left and right. That means if you scale in the left and right, and the bottom one is for the top and bottom. Okay, that means when you scale vertically what happens, and when you scale horizontally what happens. Okay, so I am worried about horizontal scaling right now. Okay, so I'm going to set this, instead of only left, I'm going to set it as left and right. Okay, so let's see what happens when you set it as left and right. Okay, so now if I go to home page and if I try to resize, can you see the difference? So the nav bar also is the blue bar is also moving with the window size. Okay, so when I increase the window, my nav bar is also moving. Okay, but then if you look at the nav bar, what is happening is the logo is stretching. Can you see? I don't know if you can see right now the logo is stretching completely. Okay, so I don't want that. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Okay, so if you double click, you can go inside the components. Okay, because I have grouped them together, so when I have to double click to go one step inside. Okay, so I have went inside, and here you can see what is the constraint right now. Okay, so the default behavior in Figma is whenever you set a constraint on the parent, the same constraint is copied inside all the children's. Okay, so that means the logo is also having left and right. Okay, so what happens when you have the logo also as left and right? So it tries to stretch. We don't want that. Okay, we don't want the logo to stretch. We just want the logo to be on the left always. Okay, so what should we do? We should just click over here, or you can come from here and select left. Okay, so now if I try to resize, let's see what happens. Can you see? Perfect. Okay, so that particular logo is sticking on that particular side, and the nav bar is moving to this side. Okay, now another thing to note is, if you look at the nav bar is also scaling. Okay, so the space between them is scaling. Okay, so let's see how we can fix that. So double click on the nav bar. You can see that is now a group that we have done, that I have done in before. So now here again, you can see both it is constrained is left and right. Okay, so again, you must have already guessed it, what should be the constraint over here. Okay, so I want the nav bar always towards the right. Okay, so instead of left and right, I will just click on right. Okay, so this will make it right. And now if I try to resize, you can see it becomes perfectly fluid. Okay, so this is what what means by fluid design. Okay, so you can see it is working perfectly. Now let us come down to this particular module. Okay, so now this particular module, we can keep it now if you look at this particular module, we don't want to scale it. Okay, so it's okay if it is in the center always. Okay, so what we will do is, on the vertical we will put it as center. Okay, so when I do center, now let's see what happens. So you can see it is always keeping the center position. Okay, so it is, if you remember previously when I was stretching, the center logo, that is this face logo, was stretching. Okay, so now when after I put it as center, now it is not stretching. Okay, so it is remaining in the center. Okay, now you can come down a little. You can see there is this particular element, that is the background of this particular image. Okay, so this background consists of multiple images. Okay, so basically there is this curve, then above that there is another light blue curve, then there is a orange curve, and at the bottom also there is another curve. Okay, so all these things together form the background. Okay, so now this background should be set to what? Okay, can anybody tell me what should the constraint be, so that if I stretch, it also stretches? Okay, can anybody tell me what should be the constraint? Should it be left, right, center, or left or right? Okay, so Khan Samir says it is center. Okay, so let's try center. And Rahul Yadav says top right. Anushka says left, right. Okay, so only Anushka is right. So let's say we put it as center. Okay, so let's set the background as center, and let's try to what do you say, scale it. Okay, so if I scale it, can you see what is happening? So the background is not scaling properly because you have put it in the center. Okay, so when you put it in the center, the background is going to remain in the center. We don't want that. We want it to stretch. Okay, so if we want to stretch it, always remember you should keep it as left and right. Okay, so if you constrain, it's like you are holding it from the left and you're holding it from the right. So when you stretch it, it has to stretch. Okay, so when you expand the outer div, both of the things are attached to the left and right, so it will stretch. Okay, so let's try that out now. So if you can see how it is working, right? So it now expands with the it expands with the size of the frame. Okay, any doubts still here? So these are what is called as constraints. Okay, so I will come back to this particular cards a little later, but let's come down and work on the contact us. Okay, So in general, contact us, I can just select the entire group, and if I do center, what will happen? Sorry, if I do left and right. Okay, so let's try left and right first, and let's see how it affects our page. Okay, so let's select the home page and let's try to drag it. Can you see what is happening? So the entire thing is getting disturbed, right? So we don't want that, right? So what we will do is, instead of that, we will make it as center. Okay, so let it be in the center whenever we stretch. Okay, so let's see now what happens. So now if I stretch, you can see it remains in the same position. Okay, but obviously the background is not stretching. Okay, so let's adjust that. Let's set that also. This is the background. Okay, and can anybody tell me what should be the constraint of the background? Yes, exactly. So a general rule of thumb, whenever it's a background, the background has to stretch, right? So whenever it's a background, usually 99% times it is left and right. Okay, so when I do that, now if I try to resize my frame, you can see it works perfectly. Okay, now finally the footer. Okay, so now can anybody tell me what should be the footer? What should I do with the footer? Okay, center, right. Perfect. It is center, right? So I can make it as center for the left and right. Okay. But since it is the footer, don't you think I can make it as bottom for the, sorry, this should be center. And for the top and bottom, I should select bottom or top. When I scale it vertically, it should stick to the bottom, right? So I should always, whenever it's a footer, I should always set it as constraint to bottom. Okay, right now it will not show any difference because we are not scaling vertically, we are just scaling horizontally. Okay, so let's try our final output and see if everything is responsive. Okay, so everything is responsive except the card. Okay, so now we will work on the card. Okay, so any doubt still here how constraints are used? Yeah, you can do that. You can group this as Anas Imam Sheikh is asking, if we group contact us with the footer, so it will, the entire thing will be now centered. Okay, that is also fine, that is absolutely fine. But the problem is if you have multiple pages, then I don't think this particular form that is there is going to be there in all the other pages. Okay, so there is no point in grouping the contact us with the footer. Okay, so I think that this is my personal choice. So I think the footer should be separate, so that, you know, when I create the next page, if you, sorry, if you look at the next page, that is about us. In the about us, I don't think all these contents in the center will be there. Neither this contact us may be there. Okay, so I will keep the footer as it is, and in that case, there is no need to combine. Okay, now finally, if you decide, since you are the developer, if you decide that okay, contact us must be there in every page, in that case you can group it. Okay, so that is, you know, personal preference of a developer. Okay, so once that is done, okay, is this not aligned? Okay, so is it clear till now how to use constraints? Any doubts? Should I move ahead? Okay, so next is a very important concept that is called as components. Okay, So now, right now, what I've done is, if you look at this, I've just, this is the cards that I'm using. Okay. So these cards are grouped together as a single card. Okay. So you can see over here, if I disable this, you can see all the cards are gone. Okay. So if I open this, you can see this is a mess inside this. Okay. So I have not grouped individual cards together. Okay. So what I've done basically here is I've created one card, then I have copied and pasted it multiple times. Okay. That is not a good idea while using Figma. Okay. So Figma, you should try to make things which are reusable. Okay. So in this case, this particular thing is not reusable. Okay. So let me show you what do I mean. Okay. So let me go inside the single card by double clicking. Okay. So if I double click and if I try to resize this, okay, so it is affecting only the that particular element. Okay. But if it's a if this do you think this will look good, something like this? One card size is small and other card size is big. Okay. So this will not, this is not going to look good. Okay. So this is where when we know that a particular thing is going to be repeated or copied, then it is better to create a component of it. Okay. So let me start by deleting everything. Okay, let me first remove this particular group, that is cards that I've created. Okay, so to uh, to remove any group that you have created, okay, so you just have to right click on that group and select ungroup. Okay, so once you do ungroup, now everything can be selected individually. Okay, so now I will delete everything. Okay, so now you can see I have single card. Okay, now this is my card and the card has around 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 components. Oh, sorry, 5 elements. Okay, so the outer it's a background of the card, then there is an avatar, then there is the name, then there is a post, and then there is the text. Okay, so some text will be there, right? So all these things together will create this particular card. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create multiple copies of this. Okay, so obviously the first step will be to group them together and then create a copies of it. Okay, but that is not going to help much. Okay, so let me show you what is the other method. Okay, so let's first select all these things. Okay, to select each of them, you just have to select the elements. You just have to select the elements and press shift and select other elements. Okay, so shift, shift, shift and shift. Okay, so you can see in the right, in the left window, these things, these 5 things are selected now. Okay, after selecting it, just right click and you can see there is something called as a create component. Okay, so which is shortcut control alt K. Okay, so if I do that, nothing much happens, but it groups them together. And if you look at the right side, okay, sorry, left side, it is saying component 1. Okay, so I can say double click and make it as card. Okay, so this component is a this is a card. Okay, so now if you look at the icon over here, if you look at the icon, there are 4 dots. Okay, so this 4 dots means that it is a component. Okay, so now let us see how to duplicate this component. Okay, so now to duplicate it, just press alt on your keyboard. As soon as you press alt, you can see your cursor changes. Okay, so when your cursor changes, that means you're ready to duplicate anything. Okay, so just press alt and click on the component and drag. Okay, so that will create a new instance of it. Okay, again click on alt and drag. Okay, now once these components are duplicated, now come back to your layers panel and look at the various cards. Okay, so you can look at the new card, 2 new cards that you have created, and if you look at the symbol that it is there, it is a single diamond. Okay, So in the case of the component, the original component, there are 4 diamonds, small diamonds, and in the duplicates, you will see there is a single diamond. Okay, the single diamond means it is an instance of a component. Okay, and the 4 diamonds means it is the original master component. Okay, so now what is the advantage of doing this? So the advantage is, if I try to resize, can you see everything resizes? Okay, so that is the advantage of creating a component. Okay, so this is very helpful when you want to, let's say, let's imagine you have 20 buttons in your page. Okay, so your page has around 20 buttons. Now each button, let's suppose you want to change the color of all the buttons. How will you change it? Okay, so you have to go to each and every button and change the color. Okay, but if you create a master component of a button, and then let's suppose you want to change the color, you just come on to that particular button. Okay, and you go to the color and you change it. Okay, so as soon as you change, you can see it affects all the child components. Okay, so whatever color you set in the master, it is reflected in the child. Okay, so that is the very important advantage of using components. Okay, so when to use component, that is also very important. So you have to use components when you're sure that the same type of things you're going to reuse in multiple places. Okay, so there you can use this. And the best part is you can group the components, you can nest the components. Okay, so you can create components inside components inside components. Okay, so that thing is possible. Okay, so let me just get back to the white background. Okay, so this much is fine. So these are my cards that I've created with the help of components. Okay, so now next is is it clear how I have created components, or is there any doubts? It is very simple. Whichever things you want to create as a component, instead of grouping them, you just right click and, okay, so right click, when you do right click, you have option for group. Okay, so you can group them if you want to just organize it. But if you want to reuse the same thing multiple times in your page, okay, so then a good idea will be to create a component. Okay, so any doubts? Okay, very good question, Khan Samir. Khan Samir is asking, what if I change the profile picture, but so if I change the profile picture, then the contents of all the other divs will also change. Okay, let me show you what exactly happens. Okay, so let me change this particular text. Okay, okay, so as soon as I change it, you can see all the instances reflect. But now let us say I change only this. Okay, let me come to the child component and change to, can you see any reflect, anything that you change in the child component will be there. Okay, and now if I try to change the master component, can you see what is the difference? So the very important thing to understand is the master will change all the children's only if they are unchanged. Okay, so if you change the contents, then the master will not have much control over the uh, child elements. Okay, so let's say for example so you can imagine which all parameters you can control it. Okay, so like for example, obviously these images you can change it. Okay, once you change it, then the master will not have control over those particular elements. Okay, and if let's say for example all the 3 are directors, okay, so you forget to change the director tag, then the master has control over all the 3. Okay, so normally that is not the case. You, after making the components, the contents obviously is going to change. Okay, so this photo image is going to change, the name is going to change, the position is going to change, and the text is also going to change. Okay, Once those things are changed, then the master does not have control over it. Okay. But it still has control over the size. Okay. Because that you have not changed. Okay. So that is very important to understand. What all things you change in the child, then the master doesn't have control over it. Okay. Uh, okay. Is it clear, Khan Samir? Any other queries? Yeah, once the control changes, you can obviously reduplicate the instance. Okay, that is possible, uh, because once the control changes, then it is going to be difficult. Okay. Any other queries? Okay. So next is, let us finish this particular thing. If I click on the home page and now if I try to drag, let's see. Okay. So obviously you can see right now uh, the cards are not responsive. Okay. So now to make them responsive, let us first align them properly. Okay. So now to align them, you can just select the elements. Okay. Let's first align the last one to the edge. Okay. So this is my edge on this side. The first one to let's suppose this edge. Okay. Then what you can do is you can just press shift and select all the three cards, and if you go to the top, you can see there are different alignment options. Okay. So here in this drop down, you can see distribute horizontal spacing. If you click on that, now you can see it automatically positions everything equally. Okay. So once this is done, now you can create a group of it. Okay. So right click and group selection. Okay. So now once you group it, now you have multiple options. Okay. One is you can stretch it. Okay. So you can put it as left and right. Okay. So this group you can make it as left and right. Okay. So let's see how will it make a difference. So if I do this, you can see what actually happens. It tries to overlap the this thing. What do you say? Huh. It tries to overlap what do you say, the regions. Okay. So instead of that, I would like to do go for center. Okay. So when I do center, and now if I try to scale it, you can see it stay, the cards stick to the center. Okay. We can do it with left and right also. Then inside each and every component, I will show you how I will handle that. Okay. Let's come to this and see, this is one option. You can do center, or else if you want to have make it more responsive, what you can do is you can select left and right. Okay. For the entire group, you select left and right, but inside, you go inside and you select this, the left one as left, the right one, the right one as right, and the center one as center. Okay. So now what will happen is when the outer group stretches, the left one stays in the left, the right one stays on the right, and the center one stays in the center. Okay. So let's try that. So you can see this is looking like this. Okay. Now it is completely the preference of the developer how to handle it. Okay. Now here also, if we want, we can try we can do stretching also. Okay. So if we apply stretching over here, then that problem of having overlapping areas will also be resolved. Okay. So now finally it is the choice of the developer how they are designing they're designing their website. Okay. So my final the fluid design is done. Okay. Any doubts still here? Are there any queries? Okay, so now till now, I think the things are clear. Okay, so next video, we are going to see how to convert this into responsive design for the mobile phones. Okay, so right now it is responsive, but uh, up to certain point. Okay, so you can see after certain point, it tries to create a problem. Okay, so you can see the navbar is getting getting problem in the navbar. Then the contents are all, you know, coming together. Okay, so all these problems are there. Okay, so that is where we use something called as media queries in CSS. Okay, so for different sizes, we are going to design the pages in a different way. Okay, so for this, what we have designed right now is for desktop computers. Okay, so now in the desktop also there are various sizes. Okay, so right now I am having a 22-inch monitor. Okay, so someone else may be having 21-inch, or someone else may be having 18-inch. Okay, so but all of them will be having somewhat the same size. Okay, that means the pixel size will be somewhat same. Okay, but once you go after certain limit, then this particular design does not work. Okay, so you have seen why it does not work. Okay, so it needs something to expand and contract. Okay, so as soon as we reach at this particular place, you can see from after this till now the top part is working properly, but the cards are getting squished together. Okay, so we don't want that. So now let us, in the next session, we will see how we are going to convert this to a mobile app. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so the next step is, let me just delete this. I don't want this right now. Okay, so next step is, now we want to design the same website. Now, usually if you look at the various design, then always you will have to design your websites for desktop, mobile, as well as tablets and other devices also. Okay, so that there are different, it will support all the different okay. Still people are putting the attendance, I don't know why. um, I have already given the attendance form. Okay, so you can just fill this if you have not filled. Okay. I I just wanted to ask, nothing related to this course. Is this attendance thing automated, something that you have written? Is it like there is some code that you have written and automatically as soon as you join it post this? Is it something like that? You are doing this manually. Very good. Still people are putting the attendance, so I'm just wondering, is it automated or uh, okay. Anyway, uh, because in value added courses you only need to put the attendance once. Okay, so because it creates a confusion, who is if there are any queries or not, because each time when I'm seeing the chat, there I'm continuously seeing some number of counts increasing. So I'm just wondering, is it a query or just an attendance? Okay, so I have to always check. Okay. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to this thing. We have designed the page for the desktop. Now let us design it for the mobile. Okay, so for that, first we have to put the frame. Okay, so let's select the frame button and come to the phone area. Okay, and you can select any of the phones you like. Okay, so let's design it for Google Pixel. Okay, so now this is Google Pixel screen. So obviously this is the screen of the screen size of Google Pixel, but because our site is very huge, we can increase the height of it. Okay, so we can increase the height a little. So this is our height. The first thing that I would like to have inside my this thing is, it's going to be my this particular module, that is what do you say, my nav bar. Okay, so I will just press Control D to duplicate and bring it over here and put it inside this. Okay, now obviously it is not going to fix over here. Okay, so before I put over there, I have to remove few things. Okay, the first thing I will remove is, I will remove these links. I don't want that link. Okay, then I will resize this over here, and as soon as I resize, you can see my logo is also getting resized. Okay, so what I will do is, I will come over here and go to my okay, I have to first put it inside a element. Okay, so let's, okay, so this is my header, right? So in the header, I will come over here and my, okay, I'm not inside a frame. So I will have to first bring this header inside this Google Pixel. Okay, so once I do that, now I can, where is it? Okay, put it inside the header. Okay, so now I can see the header, and if that particular element is not inside a frame, then you will not get that constraint option. Okay, so once I get that, now I can double click and set the constraint to left and right, and now I can reduce the size. Okay, so now I will reduce the size, but in mobile I don't think this size of nav bar is required. Okay, so let's go in, and you can see it is a very big nav bar. Okay, so what I can do is I can reduce the size a little. Okay, but if I scale it right now, you can see what is exactly happening. The font size is not reducing. Okay, it is just reducing the size of the frame, but the font is not reducing. Okay, so what in that case, what I'm going to do is, if you go to the top and if you click over here, there by default there is a move tool. Okay, below that there is something called as a K. Okay, that is scale tool. Okay, the shortcut is K. So if I click that, and now if I come over here and if I try to scale, okay, so you can see when I use the scale tool, it scales the font also. That is very important to understand. If you do not use it, if you use the move tool, it does not scale the font. It only scales the container. Okay, so now I can, okay, sorry, I can reduce it to this particular size. Okay, and then now I don't want such a big, what do you say, nav bar. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this from here and reduce the size a little. Okay, unfortunately I am still on scale, so let's go back to move. And now if I reduce the size, so this is my nav bar now. Okay, so now you can see the difference between the nav bar on the desktop and the nav bar on the mobile. Okay, so I have purposely reduced the size of the nav bar because obviously your mobile phone is a small device, so you need not have such a large nav bar in the mobile phone. Okay, so once that is done, let's come back and see what all things, other things we have to do. Now where is the menu? The menu is gone, right? So now usually in mobile phones you will have a burger button on the right or on the left somewhere, and when you click that you will get a drop down menu, right? So that you can do it if you have a burger menu, right? So let's go to material. Okay, let's go to material icons and search for, let's search for menu. Okay, so you can see this is what I've got. What do I want? Okay, I want this. Okay, so let's select that, download as SVG. Okay, and save it on the desktop and then drag it to Figma. Okay, so let's drag it to Figma, and you can see I've got the burger menu. Okay, so now I can align it perfectly. Okay, once I align it, I can double click to enter inside, and once I enter inside I can change the color. Okay, so this is my menu. If you think this particular burger menu is a little small, you can always press shift and scale it a little, and again you can align it. Okay, so that's it. That is my nav bar done. Okay, so obviously when I click on this, it should open the what do you say, nav elements, right? So that we will do. Okay, so before that, let's tackle other things. Other things, now this is the next content that we have to tackle. Right now, to tackle this, obviously all these things cannot fit inside the small device. Okay, so there are multiple options. Okay, one option is to bring it one below the other. That is one option. Or what I usually do is, uh, because the logo is already there, I will come over here. Okay, so I will come over here and paste this particular text only over here. Okay, and then I can scale it a little so that it fits inside this particular. Okay, so it is in the center, and now I want to copy these elements also. Okay, so duplicate, drag it, put it over here. Okay, again I can scale it. Okay, if you want, uh, you can do it. Okay, if you want, you can do it one below the other also. That is your choice. Okay, so my heading part is done. Okay, so what I've done is, in the mobile version, this logo I have removed. Okay, so that you can do, you can remove, you can hide or show any element of your choice by just using a CSS property called display block or display none. Okay, so using that you can enable or disable any element. Okay, so I've done that. This is my website right now. Okay, now let's come down and select the background. Okay, so this background I want to copy over here. Okay, so let's duplicate it, bring it over here. Okay, now obviously this background is too big. Okay, so let us scale it down a little. Okay, so this is my background. Okay, now let me go back to move tool and let me scale it horizontally a little. Okay, now you can see when I scale in this fashion, the image stretches. Okay, so I don't want that type of a stretch. So what I will do is I will first of all undo that. Okay, so let's undo this. Okay, I don't want any stretching as such. Okay, so let me bring it up. Okay, then I will try to duplicate the image. Okay, so let's duplicate it one more time. Okay, and let me bring that particular thing down. Okay, and you can see now it is coming twice. Okay, so how should I make it once? Only I will come to the layers tab and rearrange it. Okay, so make this on top. When I, sorry, okay, so when I make this on top, you can see now it goes away. Okay, so it is not removed. It is there, but it is in the background of the above image. That's why it is not visible. Okay, now if you want to increase the size further, you can again duplicate it and bring it down, and you can keep on increasing the size. Okay, so I will bring it a little more down. So this is my size. Okay, next, I may have to bring increase it a little more. Okay, so but I need not do that because I have another trick. Okay, I will show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I will do this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a rectangle tool and add a rectangle over here. Okay, and fill it with the color, the same color. Okay, so now nobody will know that there are these three components that is making the background. Okay, okay, so you can see now the advantage is if I try to stretch it, I have this rectangle which can stretch any distance. Okay, so once that is done, now we can start replicating the cards. Okay, now can anybody tell me, should I put this entire card over here and scale it down? Is that how responsive website should look? Okay, so basically whenever why we create the responsive website, that is very important to understand. Okay, so responsive website is created in so that you don't have to, if you look at old websites where the websites which are not responsive, it will open normally, but then you will have to zoom and then see the content. Okay, so let's suppose I just duplicate this. Okay, and put it inside this particular frame. Okay, and then I will use the scale tool to scale it. Okay, so do you think this is good? Will this make it responsive? Too small, exactly. So this is not going to work for mobile phones. Okay, so you just imagine your mobile phone is in your hand and your cards are so small. So what you will have to do, you will have to now zoom, right? So then the entire advantage of having what do you say, responsive design is lost because of this. Okay, so what we normally do is we normally delete it. Okay, we don't use it. and then we will copy each of these elements separately onto this particular thing. Okay, so let's duplicate this particular element, bring it over here. Okay, and then uh, I can if I want, I can scale it a little. Okay, so a little bit of scaling is okay. So a little bit of scaling. Okay, and actually I will be copying the other two only below, but since what do you say, all the three are the same almost, so I'm just going to duplicate the this one. Okay, now let's duplicate this, take it down, and one more time. Okay, so this is my responsive design. Obviously the background is not right now working, so let's increase the background. So this is the reason why I added that rectangle. Okay, so this rectangle, sorry, undo, go to the move tool, and now you can move the, okay, so you can see how this particular thing work. Okay, so this is how you can design your responsive websites. Okay, now obviously this is not the good the best way I can say, but you could have reduced the font further. Okay, and it is possible that you may say two can come side by side. Okay, so that everything depends on no depends from developer to developer. Okay, so I have decided it should be like this, so I have put it in this format. Okay, it is completely your choice. Okay, are there any queries? Okay. Okay, Khan Samir, what if person uses desktop site option in the browser? Okay, so when a person uses the desktop site option in the mobile, he will be presented with the this particular desktop version of your app. Okay, so the media queries get disabled at that particular stage. Okay, so it will open the desktop version. Okay, so this version, the other version that we have created, that will be opened. Can we small logo instead? Which logo? I didn't understand which logo. Yes, Khan Samir, exactly. So that is what we have done. Okay, so our first part is done. Next, let's come down and handle the other things. Okay, so the other things are, first of all, let's copy the contact us, duplicate it, bring it over here. So our contact us, then get inside this. Now here, this also, you can see, obviously I cannot take the entire box and bring it over here. Okay, so that is not going to make any sense. Okay, because the design is going to be a problem, because it will compress everything together. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring this particular element first. Okay, and if I want, I can scale this a little. Okay, let's see how it looks after scaling. Okay, so this is one way, but this is not the best way of doing it. How I would do it is, I will get inside these forms. Okay, so let me show you. Let me undo it. Okay, so this is my actual form, right? So what I will do is, I will get inside, and first of all, I will increase this. Okay, first let me get the form inside the what do you say. Okay, so now you can see the constraints are coming, right? So let me just remove the constraint from here. Okay, and now if I try to resize, okay, so let me resize like this. Okay, then I will go inside and reduce this size a little. Let me just bring everything down. Now I'm going to place it something like this. Okay. matlab, it is completely your choice. I can put it something like this also. Okay. So you understand my idea, right? So basically these are all will be going to be placeholders, and you can, so you can have something like this, maybe something like this, or you can make this a block level element some. Okay. And once that is done, now I can bring the address also inside. Okay. So once the address is inside, I can try to scale it a little. Address is not that important, so I may. Okay, so this is my address, and finally I need the footer. Okay, so let's bring in the footer and put it inside. And obviously the footer is too big right now, so let's reduce the size. That's it. Okay, so now the extra container height I can reduce, and reduce it. Sorry, my scale tool was on. Okay, so let's move now, and let's put it over here. And okay, so this is my final website. Okay, so now once is it clear what I've done? So this is my desktop version and this is my mobile version. Okay, so now let us try to preview it. Okay, so let's preview. Now when I go to prototype tab, you can see there is a play symbol over here. Okay, so this play symbol means that is the page that is going to be previewed. Okay, so let's play it. Okay, so I think I have done something wrong. Let me just. Okay, so now if I play, which connections? Let me just delete this frame completely. What is this? Okay, so that also I can delete. And now let us try to preview it. Okay, so there were some invalid connections, that's why it was not working. Okay, so this is my website, uh, desktop website. Okay, so slide orientation is changed, I think, due to when I, yeah, when I change the size, I think. Okay, so this is my final website. Okay, now next, let's preview our next, that is this particular page, that is Google Pixel, that means the second mobile app. Okay, so let's preview that. Okay, so you can see this is how your mobile app looks. Okay, now this doesn't seem like a mobile app, right? Let me show you how you can fix that. Okay, so if you come to the prototype section, can you see the interactions? Okay, so you can add an interaction, sorry, not interaction, let me where is it, show prototype setting. Yeah, in the when you set the Google Pixel, you can see there comes a device option. Okay, so here you can set which device you want to preview it on. Okay, so let's suppose it was for Google Pixel 2. Okay, so let's set the Google Pixel 2 and let's try to preview it now. Okay, so you will see the difference now. So this is now exactly how your app will look in your mobile app. Okay, so you can see how it is going to look, and immediately you can see some alignment issues is there. Okay, so that we can fix, and you can see it is pretty okay. The size of the font and the text input, everything is okay, and the footer is also visible. Okay, so everything is proper, and you can see the smart decision that I've removed the logo. The logo was not required. Okay, now, another thing that you will sometimes see is your nav bar in case of mobile phones sometimes may be fixed. Okay. So when you scroll, the nav bars may be fixed. For that, you can just go to the nav bar. And if you come to the constraints section, you can see there is an option called fix position when scrolling. Okay. So once you enable that, and now if you preview, so now you can see the nav bar is there throughout and everything works perfectly. Okay. And another option is you can select this share prototype option. And once you do that, you can just copy this link and send it to any of your developers or your friends or anything. Okay. To whom you want to show, you just share it with their chat box. Like for example, in let me just share it over here in the group. Okay, so that you all can also see what exactly we have done. Okay, so this is about responsive designing. Okay, any queries till now? Okay, in if you go to prototype and if you go to home page, uh, if you click on no show prototype settings, there you will get the device. Okay, so you can set the device over there, and here you can see which all different devices they are offering. Okay, so in case of desktop you don't have to set any device, but in case of mobile it is a good idea to see how your website will look on different mobile devices. Okay, so that is a very nice feature of Figma. Okay, now the all the things that we have learned in this various courses, all these things are very essential, when very important when you build your resume. Okay, all these things are something which you learn after you uh, join industry. Okay, so I'm trying to show you these are the things that people use to design the websites. Okay, now obviously you may think what is this, you are just drawing something, and how this will be now converted into HTML. Okay, so that is where your HTML and CSS skills will be tested. Okay, obviously as I've already told you before, if you go to inspect, you will get all the CSS that is applied. Like for example, if you go to this particular card and if you go inside, you can see what is the CSS that is applied. Okay, so all these things helping hand Figma will do, but finally it is your knowledge. Okay, how you are going to design. Okay, if anybody is interested in seeing how this can be done, there are lots of online courses also, or sorry, online tutorials also. But in my channel also, I am in fact in the WDL course, we are converting, you know, different Figma designs to HTML. Okay, so I will show you few of them that I have done. Okay, so this is the URL of my designs. If anybody is interested, they can go through and have a look. Okay, so let me start from the top. Okay, so this is the Figma design that was created, and check out the HTML CSS page. Okay, so this is the page, final output page, which is designed in HTML. Okay, so it looks almost the same. Okay, then this is the another page that I've created, auto GA page. Okay, so let's check out. This is designed in Figma, and after that I have created it in HTML CSS. Okay, so you can see it looks pretty good. Okay, and it is also made responsive, because if you look at the responsive design, I have created another layout for the responsive one. Okay, so let's see whether it is really responsive or not. Okay, so let's reduce the size. Yes, if I reduce, you can see it is perfectly responsive. And after a certain point, okay, so I have set this as my point. Okay, you can see after this point, it changes the orientation completely. Okay, so you can see this is how you can create various nice little designs. Okay, then this is the login page that we have created in the last session. Okay, and this I've converted into HTML. You can see how it looks. Okay, then this is the login page, another login page. It was just for, you know, practice, you can see. And this is the page that we see, we have seen just now. Okay, so let's see how that looks. So this is it, how it looks. Okay, it is not perfectly complete, but you can see it is somewhat responsive. Okay, so at some point the navbar changes. Okay, and all the elements stack vertically. Okay, okay, so these are some of the designs that I've done. Okay, a few more are there. These are the nav bars. Okay, that is not that important. These are some of the cards. This card I would like to show. This card I have designed in Figma. Okay, and look at this card. Okay, so this, it looks like it is embossed. Okay, but if I go over it, you can see how it animates. Okay, so all these things I've done in Figma. Okay, obviously it is done in HTML CSS, but then it is converted to Figma using HTML CSS. Sorry, from Figma to HTML CSS. Okay, and this is a small little switch I have created. Okay, I think it is not yet updated. Is it not updated? Okay, so I forgot to push, but this switch also works. Okay, so these many designs you can make, and this you can I'm just creating random designs whatever I like, and I'm uploading it. Okay, so it is completely up to you. You can see how easy it becomes once you have something designed. Once the prototype is designed ready, then making the website becomes much more easier. Okay, so this is the actual flow of how, you know, you design your websites. Rather than, you know, there is a way where, you know, you can directly go start writing HTML code and design your websites. That is also fine, but then, you know, you don't have a visual impression that how your final end product should look like. Okay, so jaise banega waise banega, it will be like that. Okay, but once you know how it's going to look, then if you design it, that will be you know, much more efficient and less time consuming. Okay, uh, yes, perfect. It's like making a blueprint of a project, right? Okay, so any doubt still here? Okay, let's finish the last part. Okay, and very important part. Now, the main reason why Figma is very famous is because of the extensions that you can do with this. Okay, so basically the plugins that you can install in Figma, it is this is the reason why Figma is very famous. Okay, so now let's see how to install plugins. Okay, so let's for to install plugins, you just open your Figma app and go to community. Okay, so after going to community, you can see all the different different users who have created various stuffs for you, and the best part is you don't have to reinvent the wheel again and again. You can, let's suppose you like any particular design from here, okay, and you want to reuse it in your website. You can duplicate it, like it's like GitHub only. You just go open it. Okay, so you can see it is opening. Let it just load. Once the loading is done, you can see now I can click on this button and it will zoom. Okay, I think uh, okay, so they don't have the complete image, but anyway, you can just once you like that particular design, you just have to click on duplicate button. Okay, and that will be copied into your what do you say, into your project. Okay, and from there you can now select whichever component you like, copy and paste to your particular project. Okay, so that is how simple is to collaborate, sorry, to share your data with others. Okay, so many people, there are many such designs that you can do. These are just the popular ones. If you just keep scrolling, you will see thousands of such designs that are there. Okay, but that is not what we are interested in. What we are interested in is plugins. Okay, so let's let's go to this particular tab called plugins. Okay, so let's go to plugins, and as soon as I click on plugins, you can see the top, and the most popular plugins are listed on the top. Okay, so you can see I have installed a few, right? And the process is very simple. All you have to do is, like for example, this particular plugin is not installed. Okay, so to install it, you just have to press this button once. Okay, and it will be downloaded and installed to your system. That's it. Okay, that is it for you to install it. Okay, so you can decide which particular plugins you want, install it. Once it is installed, now let's see how to use it. Okay, so let's come back to our project. Okay, so let's select any of the projects. Let's select our this project only. Okay, so let's select this project. Okay, so this is our project that we have done, right? So now to access your plugins, all you have to do is go to this hamburger menu, okay, of the Figma. And if you come down over here, you can see the plugins. Okay, so here you can add in, these are all the plugins that I have installed. Okay, so let's suppose you want to get some images from Unsplash. Okay, so you know what is Unsplash, right? Unsplash is a very popular stock image place. Okay, so where you can use your images. Okay, get images for your website. Like for example, I have created this particular website. Okay, so this particular image over here, this I have got from uh, uh, Unsplash. Okay, so it's a beach image, so a sample website for that. Okay, so to get that particular image, so all you have to do is go to plugins, go to Unsplash. Okay, so give it a little time, it will load. Once it loads, you can see you will get this particular option. You can select any random image, or you can select search, or let's say lion. Okay, so I'm selecting lion, and you can see it gives me all the lion images. Okay, all you have to do is select that particular image. It is, and just wait for it because it's a very, stock images are very huge in size, so it takes time to download. Okay, so once it is downloaded, it will be inserted into your, you can see it is inserted into your this thing image. Okay, so this is one very good feature of Figma, that you can add such, you don't have to now go to Unsplash, download it and then drag it, so those things are not required. Okay, then if you look at if you see how I have got the icons, okay, like for example the hamburger menu, all those things. So for that I went to material icons and then got the icons, right? So that that library, that plugin is also there. You can just select material icons and you can select menu. That's it, you will get the icon, right? It's that simple. Okay, so like that you can create, various, let me just create another frame over here to show you. Okay, so let's add something. There are lots of images. Let's select this. Okay, so you can see, you can select various artwork for your websites. Let's select this one. Okay, so once I select this, you can see I got this image. I can take it and put it anywhere I want. Okay, and the best part of artwork is you can change the color of anything. Okay, so let's say I want to change the color of this particular shirt to something else. Okay, so I can do that. Okay, so that I want to change the color of the hair, I want to change the color of the skin. So that is the advantage of using an artwork. Okay, so such artworks are there in Figma after installing this plugin. Okay, then this is very nice, I like this one. Avatars. Okay, for that is for if you want to, let me show you. Let me show you content reel first. Okay, so let's select content reel. Okay, so this is content reel, very very nice plugin and my favorite plugin. Okay, so now content reel is very important. Let's suppose, let me select a name, and if I select this, it updates a random name for me. Okay, so I can select this, put a random name, then I can select this, I can put a random name. Okay, so you can see what all problems there can be, and you can change the font accordingly. Okay, another thing, let's select this particular image. Okay, and I want a different avatar for this. You can see it can also provide you different avatars. Every time you click, you will get a different avatar. Okay, you can change the content also, you can put random addresses, you can put random dates, etc etc. So there are lots of features in this particular library. That is my favorite library that I use normally. Okay, you can also create blobs. Okay, so like for example, so let's make this blob. Okay, so this is created. Okay, so this is just an art diagram which you can use as a background for designing purpose. You can see in one of my designs that I've shown, in the background of the login form there was this particular thing. Okay, so here you can change the color to anything you want. Okay, you can add such many uh, blobs and create your designs. Okay, another thing, another plugin that I like is Waves. Okay, so Get Waves is another thing that I like. This I use very often. Okay, so you can see it generates random waves for you. Okay, so you can increase the complexity and you can create waves. Okay, so once you decide which wave you like, you can click on create, so it creates a wave for you. Okay, and all these are SVGs. Okay, the advantage of SVG is you can increase the size as much as you want, it will not distort. Okay, if you increase the size of an image, it will distort after a little while. Okay, but SVGs will not distort. Okay, so you can see how you can create wonderful images. Okay, so you can duplicate this, bring it down, rotate it little, and then you can have, another rectangle over here and cover this entire space, and you can create various things. Like for example, I have created one. You can see, in fact, this design also is a wave only. Okay. And I have designed one using waves. Okay, here you can see this is one of my designs. Here I have used a wave. Okay, so you can see this wave, and at the bottom also I have used another wave. Okay, so that is some of the plugins. You can add maps. Another thing very important, you can add charts also. Okay, so let's suppose you want to create a chart. You can see, dummy charts. Actually the JavaScript will be using for creating charts in HTML and CSS, but when you want to mock up something, you want to have a fake chart, you can use this particular. Okay, obviously you can draw it using line tools, but then just for a simple chart, if you're going to take a lot of time, like for example, if I come back to my design, you can see I have created an admin dashboard where I have used this charts. Okay, so this looks something like this. Okay, so this is not complete, I'm trying to complete it. Okay, so then there are lots of plugins. These are some of very important. Another, you can generate table also, but one thing I liked about this plugin is the palette plugin. Okay, so palette plugin, let's first go to, let's say, Unsplash. Okay, and get an image of nature. Okay, let's get any random image of nature. Okay, so you can see if I select any particular layer and then if I click, that image is applied onto that particular layer. Okay, so that is a very nice feature if you want to have let's say a card system, and inside that card if you want to have an image, then this is a very nice feature. But let's suppose I don't want that and I want to get a nature image directly, or let's say space image. Okay, so I want a space image, and this is the, oh my god, this is very simple. Let's select a nature only. Okay, so let's select a nature image. Okay, so this is the image, and based on this one image I want to create a website. Okay, so what all colors should I use? How will I find out? It is very simple. You just select that particular image, or you can just right click, or you can go to, from here also you can go to plugins. Okay, and click on palette. Okay, so as soon as you do that, it will try to find out using some machine learning algorithm which colors you can use. Okay, so after looking at the image, it is telling you that these are the colors that you can use to design your websites. Okay, so this is very important plugin that in fact, the previous design that I've shown you, I've used this plugin only to find out which colors I should use. Okay, so this is very nice little tool to help you out. Okay, and here also you can select, if you don't like that particular thing, then you can have a different combination also. Okay, for user interface different. Okay, so you can have different type of contrast and other things for your colors. Okay, so these are some of the plugins. You can there are more, lots and lots of plugins, more than 1,000 plugins out there, but these are some of the things that I use. Okay, so only those many things I have explained. Okay, so you can also use, you can try this out. Okay, and I would like to see some of you, if you can start create some designs and show it to me, uh, how you have used Figma to create your own designs. Okay, you can share the URL to me. Okay, if possible, I would love to see it. Okay, uh, okay, so are there any queries from any one of you? Okay, Khan Samir is asking, do we get exact same groups which was formed by the uploader, so that we change the particular group so we can get, yeah, the groups, everything, when you copy the contents from other libraries, then you will get the same groups. So you can ungroup it and regroup according to your needs. Okay. Okay. Shivan Gupta is having problem with shadows. Is it, Shivam? Do you want me to show you how to add shadows or? Okay. So to add shadows to anything, you just have to select that particular element. Okay. So for example, this is my element. Okay. And in the effects panel on the right, okay, so you can see I have a plus symbol. You just click on that plus symbol and it adds a shadow. Okay. That now you can, here you can decide which type of shadow you want, inner shadow or outer shadow. Okay. Let's suppose I want an inner shadow. Okay. And here you can now set the various parameters that you want. Okay, so let's suppose I want x4, y4 and blur a little high. Okay, and let's increase the, okay, you can see how the shadows are taking effect. Okay, and let me just zoom and show you. So you can see how the shadows are coming in place. Okay, so instead of inner shadow, if I change it to drop shadow, you can see it comes as a drop shadow now. Okay, so you can create inner or drop or anything. Okay, you can also create this as a background blur also, or layer blur also. Okay, so you can blur the particular object also. Okay, so all these things are possible. You can see the edges are all blurred. Okay, so that also you can do. So there are various options. You can just keep trying other different options to find out which one suits you best. Okay. Okay. Okay, then I hope you enjoyed the session. And if you have any further queries, you can contact me directly through Slack. Okay, so I have also uh, uh, shared the Slack channel. Okay, you can refer my website for my Slack channel and you can join there. Okay. Okay, then see you. See you in the next course whenever we schedule it. Okay. Have a good day.